AI is getting really good at making websites, but you don't want to vibe code your business's website, right? But platforms like WordPress aren't really keeping up with how quickly AI is moving. If you've been thinking about what's the best platform to build your website on and whether or not you should migrate off to your existing platform, it can be really hard to figure this out. And if you asked me a few months ago, I didn't have a good answer for you. But I've spent the last few months thinking through this with my team and some very smart developers off my team. And I think we can finally make some very confident guesses about the best platform for your website. And I want to help you think through this. First of all, let's get the SEO question out of the way. Google doesn't care what platform your website's on, and neither does ChatGPT. Don't choose your website platform for SEO or GEO reasons. Choose a platform based on functionality and ease of use. What does your website need to do, and how easy is it to make that happen on this platform? Now, at this point, the end goal should be pretty clear. AI needs to be able to do everything. 1 to 2 years from now, it's just not going to make sense to require humans to manually update the pixels and words and images on your website. So whatever platform you're on, AI has to be at the core. And I don't mean a typical builder with AI features bolted on like we're seeing right now from WordPress or Squarespace or Wix. To be competitive, AI is going to need to have access and a complete understanding of every file on your website server. And now it might sound like I'm recommending you build your website on a platform like Lovable. And if you're just building a simple static website, then yeah, you probably should just build it on Lovable. But for most businesses, that's not going to cut it right now. It's not going to offer the functionality, reliability, or security that you need. So let's talk about the different situations you might find yourself in and my recommendation for each. The good news, if you're already on an established platform like WordPress or Shopify or Squarespace, there's really no urgency. This is especially true of Shopify, partly because it's hard to migrate off of an e-commerce platform, but more so because they're doing a really good job keeping up with AI. If you're an e-commerce business, you need to be integrating the Universal Commerce Protocol, and you need to be eligible for Google's Universal Shopping Cart. All of this is happening automatically for you if you're on Shopify. I don't think you need to consider moving away for a long time. Now, platforms like WordPress aren't doing nearly as good of a job, and I do think you're going to want to be migrating off of them within the next year. But like I said, there's no urgency right now. Every month you wait, it's getting a little bit easier to migrate your website with AI. Within a year, I think this kind of migration will be trivial. But migrate to where, TJ? Where would we migrate to? Don't worry, I'll get to that. Now, if you're an e-commerce business on WordPress using WooCommerce or BigCommerce, you might want to consider moving to Shopify. However, if you have a lot of products, this can be a big lift. Just make sure you're doing what you need to adopt Universal Commerce Protocol. Now, what if you're just launching a brand new website? If you're an e-commerce business, easy, Shopify. Otherwise, I still think the safest option is WordPress right now. The majority of websites we're building for clients right now are on WordPress. It's a low-risk platform to build your website on. Just assume you'll be migrating it soon. By 2027, the best platform to have your website on is no platform. Or rather, the platform itself will become unimportant. The only thing that's going to matter is the structure of your data. The truth is, the software layer is becoming trivial. It's already pretty easy for even non-developers to spin up software to edit their own website. As long as your website data follows typical website standards, as HTML pages organized inside folders, swapping out that software layer will be trivial. You can just easily connect it to whatever software you want or vibe code your own. And this will force the platform to adopt to the data structure instead of the other way around. More importantly, this will allow you to give AI direct access to the files on your website. Now, we will need some new universal standards to make sure all the platforms play nice with the data structure. And we're already seeing this with new files like llms.txt. But those standards will need to continue to be refined. I wouldn't be surprised to see Google take the lead on this the way they did with Universal Commerce Protocol. Now, for e-commerce businesses, this is going to take longer than it is for a typical business, but I do think this is the way. I'm placing some big bets on this feature because I truly think this is the way things are going. Me and my team are aggressively spending resources towards exploring this. So for now, yes, the safe option is to stay on the existing platforms. But ask me again in 3 months.